Okay, let me take a time to present my topic to all of you here, especially for lecturer and class. My topic here is talk about task-based language teaching that this provide or instructed by Dr. Somara. Next. Okay, and here's my content. I don't want to waste time, so I'm not read. Let's go on. Okay. The first I want to talk about overview before I go direct to my topic. I want to clarify about the definition of task. What is a task? Task means a piece of work to be done or undertaken. I take the meaning from Oxford Dictionary, and also mean a specific piece of work required to done as the duty or job. And also mean a task is any activity that learner engage to progress of learning language. William and Burden give this definition. Next. Okay, have to know about student task. What it is called student task. The student task is the student instruction to the project. It establishes the parameter that student work within to accomplish the project. In some cases, it asks students to assume a part in the play, a role play too. And learning tasks should be built on previous activity and avoid being repetitive. They should enable students to engage with and develop their skill, knowledge, and understanding in a different way. Meaningful activity engage students in active, constructive, intentional, presentative, and cooperative way. This is the meaning of the student task, because if we talk about only task, we can talk broad. But if we talk a task for student, it can be called a kind of project work for the lecturer or teacher provide to students to complete their work, like the homework, assignment, and extra. Next. Before show to all of you about the task-based uh, language teaching, I'm going to show about the historical background of task-based language teaching. TBLT, we call task-based language teaching, begin in 1970 when scholars argued that language teaching should teach grammar and meaning. They feel contensively took Bravo as one of the first supporter of assignment when he began his approach to teaching secondary school classes in Bangalore in India in 1970. Since that time, TBLT began to widely recognize and discuss in language and research teaching in second language acquisition, SLA. Some of its proponents believe that TBLT developed from communicative language teaching, CLT. TBLT share the same several principles with the CLT. Those TBLT is assumed to have originated from CLT. It has its own reason for different philosophy and approaches toward language in instruction nowadays. TBLT is looked is broad term which involve not only not see. Say, okay, this is just historical. Yeah, why TBLT occur in the learning approach, or you can say a methodology of teaching. Next, okay, what is task-based language teaching? Yeah. This is the question that all of you have to know. What is this task-based language teaching? Next. Okay, task-based language teaching, or we call TBLT, is an approach which offers student opportunities to actively engage in communication in order to achieve a goal or complete a task. TBLT set to develop students into language through providing a task and then using language to show it. So this is the meaning of the term task-based language teaching. Is the way that a teacher or lecturer they will provide opportunity for students to use their language, or we can say communication, to use their language, especially we talk about second language acquisition, or we can say L2 for students who are studying for second language as yeah, language. It was the first developed by Rahu in Bangalore, southern India. Yeah. Rahu believed that students may learn more ethic effectively when their mind focus on the task rather than on the language they are using. So the task-based language teaching, we call TBLT, is was developed by Mr. Brahu. Yeah, Brahu maybe he Indian people, because they mentioned in the southern Indian that they believe and they provide. Yeah, also in the historical of the uh, TBLT also begin in 1970. Yeah, 50 years ago. Yeah. Next. Okay, TBLT contribute a strong version of communicative language teaching. So if we talk about TBLT, is maybe most of this strategy or methodology of teaching to the student is provide them the uh, opportunity to make a conversation or communicative by using the language in kinds of teaching. This is take from Sek Han. Teacher dominant authority turned into teacher getting in TBRT, because teacher center learning become a learner center. So the kind of TBLT is a kind of teach student center. Yeah, because we have two methodology of teaching that pass away in the past. Mostly of the way of teaching or provide education to the learner, we use the teacher center. Yeah, we call PPP. But for nowadays, they incorrect. They appreciate for the student center, because may they think that teacher centers not give opportunity much for students to learn, but just to practice and follow by the teacher or lecturer. But for the student center, the student they have a chance, yeah, to show their opinion, to show their thinking, and they have more activity rather than teacher center. So for the world nowadays they incorrect, incorrect or use the methodology of learner center. We call student center for to provide education. Even in Cambodia, now we also use this kind because this kind of teaching it provide provide the time for students to do activity a lot in class that they can that it's maybe can gain a lot of knowledge from learning in class rather than just followed by the teacher. And it can be seen as both a refinement of communicative language teaching CLT and a reaction to the use of PP. Yeah. PPP is referred to teacher-centered learning. Next. Okay, why we use task-based approach? Yeah, why we use the this is the reason why we use task-based approach or task-based teaching, language teaching. Tasks can be easy related to student real life language need. Yeah, because sometimes we need to study the why the situation that's suitable for the student. We need to show them for the real life of language. Yeah. So TBDT, or we can say task-based language teaching, is the way that the teacher provide the student the task related suitable with the real life language use. So this is the reason why we use a task-based approach to teach or provide education to the student. And they create content that facilitate second language acquisition. Yeah, and task create opportunity focus on form. Yeah, for the student, and students are more likely to develop instruction, no motivation in a task-based approach. Yeah. Sometimes when we use this strategy to take this method to take, it means that we motivate students to learn more and more. So this is why that we use this kind of teaching to the student. A task-based approach enables teacher to see if students are developing the ability to communicate in an L2, or we can say a second language or not. So it's a way that the teacher want to know their student they can learn or not, they develop or not in communicative, we can say using second language. So this is the way that they use task-based language teaching to know ability of the student that they improve or not, developing or not. Okay, next. Here I'm going to show about pro and con of TBLT. Yeah, because some it's not perfect. Yeah, some all the thing is not perfect and good all the time. Always have advantage and disadvantage. So TBLT also have a good point and bad point for the student too. So that's why I rest the pro and con here to show up you about the TBLT, yeah, task-based language teaching. For the pros, the TBLT is applicable and suitable for students of all age and background. Even the old age, even the young age, they can, yeah, it very suitable for them for learn this strategy that provided by the lecturer or teacher. Student will have a much more varied, yeah, exposure to language with TBLT. Yeah, they have more and more exposure, and students are free to whatever vocabulary and grammar they know rather than just to focus on the target language of the lesson. And sometimes, yeah, the teacher, they provide a chance to student to use their uh, own word. We can say whatever vocabulary that students use is they use their own word, their own understanding of the lesson. It's not just follow by the target of the lesson all the time. So they have free. It means that they can write, they can use, they can speak whatever they want to show to the class, to the teacher. That not just to follow by the target language of the lesson all the time. So this is the advantage of use TBLT, and TBLT helps students pay attention, yes, to the relationship between form and meaning. Yeah, this is a role of using TBLT. Yeah, have it might make students pay attention more. Yeah, focus on form and meaning. TBLT allow meaningful communication. Yeah, because this style of teaching provide opportunity a lot in communication or conversation, encourage students to be more ambitious in the language they use. Yeah. So this is a pro of um, TBLT. Why we use that? We have this. There are a lot, but just to pick up some to show to all of you here. But for the pro, it's not just only have a few points that I show here. It have more than that, but I just to show some. Next. So after we know about the pro of TBLT, yeah, now we know about the disadvantage. We can say con of the TBLT. Yeah. TBLT require a high level of creativity and initiative on the part of the task. So sometimes it might difficult for the students who are in lower level. Maybe they cannot create, they cannot understand well about this kind of technique to provide teaching to the student because they are in low level. But if they are in higher level, it's okay. And if they are creative, student may be good. But for the student who are not creative, one maybe this is very hard for them to provide this kind of task to them. There is a risk of learner to achieve fluency at the expense of accuracy. Yeah, it is a disadvantage, or we can say bad effectively to the student, to the learner. I use TBLT. Um, can affect to fluency of them and accuracy also. It requires resources beyond the textbook and related material usually found in language classroom. Yeah, sometimes perhaps yeah give the choice for the student to do task. So sometimes they need to take source from any source, but not only a textbook. Yeah, sometimes some students they cannot find. They just follow by the textbook. If they can find in textbook, it's okay. They can do. But if no in textbook, maybe they hard it hard to be done for the task to the teacher or use the language. So it is the con, or we can say this one check up using TBLT. Task-based, yeah, instruction is not teacher center, yeah, and it requires individual and group responsibility and a commitment on the part of the student. Yeah. So TBLT is kind of a student center. It's not a teacher center. That require student do individual and group responsibility and make more and more commitment on task. And sometimes it's very hard for students, especially Yeah, if we provide the individual work, they cannot complete. Sometimes we provide for the group work, but they not well cooperation, so also fail. Yeah, also fail, and poor relationship cannot create for the task that teacher want. If students are not equally lacking in this quality, task-based instruction may indeed be difficult to implement. Yeah. So I mentioned already, if I do individual or group work and not well, maybe can affect bad effectively to the target teacher provide. Evaluation evaluation of the task learning can be difficult. Yeah, the nature of the task-based learning prevent it from being measurable by some of the more restricted and traditional tests. So, kind of TBLT or test of work that provide by the way or the strategy methodology of TBLT is hard for the teacher or for the lecturer to evaluation the student because this kind of method of teaching is it's not it's prevent from the measurable. Yeah. Sometimes it give the score based on the opinion or thinking of the teacher that can affect to the score of student too. If the teacher they bias, they may say, can say bias because this is kind of no measurable. If measurable, the teachers are not biased, but if they give the score a point by thinking of the teacher or opinion of the teacher, maybe score providing by sometimes. Next. Okay, sum up. Yeah, it's. I also mentioned a lot about TBLT. Yeah, task-based language teaching. So now I just to sum up, we can rest again that TBLT is based on the principle that language learning will progress most successfully if teaching aims simply to create contact in with the learner. Natural language learning capability can be nurtured rather than making a systematic attempt to teach the language bit by bit. So this is a sum up that why we use what is we call task-based language teaching. Okay, next. Okay, this is time. Thank you. If anybody have a question and wonder some point, can raise the question. If can answer, I will try my best. If not, I will say sorry and ask lecturer to help me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Venerable, for your presentation. Yeah, about TBL. Yeah, this topic might be good for Vijayada. I think your research topic supposed to do with TBL as well, right? Okay, are there any question about TBL? Please, okay, we may have two questions about this and then we can move. Okay.
Trong số on đây còn trong nghĩa tha task based language teaching nó người dân dòng pi một hệ method mùi ní là trong nghĩa tha nó về apply nó sơ cầm đặt nai cả này thay bởi sân chỉ côn sơ còn ở miền ចំណេះដឹងទូទៅច្រើនហ្នឹងវាពិបាកមិននៅសម្រាប់គេយើង apply method winner
អូខេអរគុណសម្រាប់សំណួរដូចបានបញ្ជាក់នៅក្នុង presentation មិនហើយគឺគេថាវាមានទាំង pro and con disadvantage និង advantage របស់វាមានន័យថា advantage នេះមានន័យថាយើងផ្ដល់ឱកាសសម្រាប់សិស្សគាត់ធ្វើការងារដោយខ្លួនគាត់យូរអូនលែងពេកគាត់ធ្វើកិច្ចការងារខ្លួនគាត់ជា individual តែជាក្រុមតែអញ្ចឹងណាមានថាអត់សូវ follow តាម teacher ទេមានថាគាត់ free មានថា you free style របស់គាត់ណាហ្នឹងជា pro នឹងជា pro របស់គាត់ក្នុងការប្រើ TBLT ហ្នឹងហើយសម្រាប់ការប្រើនៅក្នុង TBLT ហ្នឹងក៏ដូចគ្នាក៏មានចំណុច lack របស់វាដែរគឺមានន័យថាយើង apply បានសម្រាប់តែកូនសិស្សគាត់មានការគិតគាត់ creative អញ្ចឹងទៅណាប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជាកូនសិស្សគាត់រៀនស្ពឹកយើង apply method ហ្នឹងទៅគាត់អត់បានទេមានន័យថា apply ទៅគាត់គាំងតែម្ដងគាត់ឧទាហរណ៍គាត់ទម្លាប់រៀនជាមួយគ្រូគឺចាំតែ follow តាមគ្រូអញ្ចឹងទៅគ្រូបង្រៀនមកថា2 + 2 = 4អញ្ចឹងគាត់ចេះតែ2 + 2 = 4ត្រង់ដែលថា5 ដក 1ក៏អាចស្មើ4គាត់អត់ដឹងទេអាហ្នឹងដោយសារគាត់ follow by តែ teacher គេហៅថារៀនរបៀប teacher center ហើយអា method នេះអីវាជាគេហៅថា learner center ឬក៏ student center មានន័យថាអញ្ចឹងបើនិយាយពីmethod ទីហ្នឹងយើងយល់ហើយថា teacher center យ៉ាងម៉េច student center យ៉ាងម៉េចអញ្ចឹងគឺ method task based ហ្នឹងវាសម្រាប់ apply នៅក្នុង student center ច្រើនជាងនៅក្នុង teacher center ព្រោះរបៀបរៀនរបស់ teacher center យើងដឹងហើយគឺគ្រូគាត់ active ជាងសិស្សប៉ុន្តែសម្រាប់ student center គឺសិស្សគាត់ active ជាងអញ្ចឹងយើងអាច apply នៅ methodology ហ្នឹងឯងទៅសម្រាប់បើសិនជាថ្នាក់ជាប្រភេទថ្នាក់ student center គឺយើង apply ទៅជោគជ័យហើយសិស្សគាត់រៀនបានច្រើនតែសម្រាប់សិស្សដែលគាត់ទម្លាប់រៀនរបៀប teacher center maybe គាត់មិនអាចរៀនបានទេមានន័យថាគាត់ចាំតែ follow គ្រូសេលើការខៀនយ៉ាងម៉េចគាត់ចាំតែច្រឡំតាមប៉ុណ្ណឹងហើយទៅប៉ុណ្ណឹងគាត់មាន creative គាត់មាន critical thinking ទេអញ្ចឹងមានន័យថាគោលក្បាលគាត់វារៀងស្ពឹកបន្តិចគេហៅថាមនុស្សហ្នឹងសិស្សហ្នឹងគាត់ធៀនអត់សូវប្រវត្តិទេគោលក្បាលគាត់ហ្នឹងហើយ critical របស់គាត់ thinking ហ្នឹងគាត់អត់សូវមានដែរដោយសារគាត់ចាំតែ follow គ្រូហើយសំណួរដែលគ្រូសួរចាំតែតាមតែសំណួរគាត់បង្រៀនគាត់សួរហ្នឹងគេថា close question ណាវាមិនមែនជាប្រភេទ open question បើជាប្រភេទ open question មានន័យថាយើងអាចមានគំនិតនៅក្នុងការគិតរបស់យើងយ៉ាងម៉េចយើងក៏អាចដល់ជាការសរសេរឬក៏ឆ្លើយទៅតាមអ្វីដែលយើងយល់ឃើញដែរហ្នឹងវាពីប្រភេទបើយើងនិយាយពី question វាមាន close និង open ហើយ TBLT នេះឯងវាជាប្រភេទ open ហើយព្រោះហ្នឹងគឺដល់ opportunity to student to use their own language rather than just follow by the teacher or lesson. Thank you.
បងអរគុណ